What's going on, world?
What's happening?
You done?
Yeah,
Welcome back to
what's up?
episode 9. We're
Nine
on
oh.
episode 9.
9-0. Got that 9-0.
That's 90.
Well, 9. Okay.
Jeez.
It's supposed to be 9-0,
You
not
so
9-0.
extra. Welcome back.
What's happening?
We missed you guys. Hope everyone enjoyed their nice little holiday.
Yeah.
Ate some good food and didn't blow anything
Yeah.
up
It was
or off.
It was a good time. We had a good time on the 4th.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna let you guys sit back, listen to this little intro, and then we'll be back here in a few
Hold
seconds.
on, let me tell them what I cooked. You want me to tell them what I cooked?
You know, this is just the intro.
Okay.
We're gonna finish
I
the
threw
intro.
down on that grill, y'all. I'm just saying.
Oh Lord, we'll see y'all back in a second. And just like that, we are back.
We back like we never left.
All right, so today is episode 9, and I thought we should talk about a topic that's important not only in relationships but in life in general.
And
Right.
What's that?
Mental health.
Mental health.
I think we should talk about mental health.
Okay.
Mental health within a relationship for this particular podcast, but hopefully someone can relate to mental health in general, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, as I'm browsing through the internet, you know, I ran across yet another passage that kind of made me lean close to this direction, right?
Okay.
And the passage is, how someone makes me feel emotionally and mentally is more important than what they can do for me physically or materialistically.
Oh, spicy.
Right.
Yeah.
So it really it makes you kind of think, you know?
Yeah.
So mental health in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think mental health is an issue that is not discussed as much as it should be.
You talking about within relationships, right?
Within relationships and in general, you know? It gets to the point where people feel the need to keep stuff bottled up inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they can't openly express themselves.
Uh-huh.
And next thing you know, that suffering in silence turns into something bigger, and the only thing that's left to say is, oh, I didn't even know they were going through that.
Yeah. I mean, do you think it's more of the men that struggle with communicating what's going on in their head, or the female, or could it be both?
I think it's both.
Okay.
I think people get so caught up in trying to have this strong persona to them, if that makes sense.
And that's mostly from a male perspective, right?
Yeah, I mean, it comes from both. It comes from a male and a female perspective.
Yeah.
Because, yes, a male feels the need, like, from culture, let's just put it that way, feels the need to always have to be the tough guy, always have to be strong, not be able to show emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because, like, especially the black man,
Mm-hmm.
from a young age, they're taught, oh, why are you crying? Don't cry. Why are you complaining? Don't complain. Toughen up.
Yeah.
Be a man about it.
Yeah.
And then, from a female's perspective, when they try to, like, express how they feel, a lot of times it turns into, oh, why are you, quote unquote, be-wording about the situation or complaining about the situation, when in all honesty you're just trying to openly express yourself.
I get it. I mean, it's just like two absolute opposites in reference to that situation colliding. And, I mean, like you said, most men are brought up to keep that shit in. Hey, if you goddamn crying, you better suck them tears up. You know what I'm saying? If you got something to complain about, you better figure it out. We won't never really talk to people about our situations. We just man up and deal with it, bro. And that comes from the time that You able to walk and talk to the time that you become a grown man on your own. But women are raised a little differently. Y'all are raised to express y'all emotions. So it's like you were raised one way. So when you get together with your boyfriend, or girlfriend, or wife, or husband, it's like y'all are different because you got one thing going on, she got another thing going on. So she looking at you like, dang man, you can't express your feelings towards me. What's happening? And you're just not used to doing it because you were taught from a little shorty that, hey, look, hey, that ain't what we do. We don't cry. You got there and fall, you get yourself up and you dust it off. Rub some dirt on it. Don't be complaining. That's not what it is. And I'm pretty sure that's not how it is with females. Even with my kids, I see myself kind of doing that, but I try to catch myself. Like with my son crying and stuff, I'm like, dude, you better cut that mess off, bro. Stop that. Get up, go play, go try it again. But with my daughters, I kind of like, I'm very reserved. I'm like, okay, babe, what's going on? Come talk to dad. What's happening? And that's really not right. How you feel about that?
I mean, you know how I feel about that. I tell you how I feel about
Yeah,
that on a regular.
yeah,
But it goes back to a couple podcasts ago when we were talking about relationships and the importance of being able to be completely open in a relationship.
mm-hmm.
I think being able to express yourself and for you to make me feel heard mentally, heard emotionally is important in a relationship.
Yeah, it is.
And that's more than just a relationship, like in our case, a marriage. That's a relationship where you're dating. That's a relationship between uh, parents, relationships between friends, relationships between coworkers. I think all relationships should still have that same level of respect.
Mm-hmm.
I think a person should be able to be heard regardless of who they are
Of
or what
course,
the situation is.
of course. And look, we don't like to talk, man. we do not like to talk. So what we do, if something happens and you get into an argument, what we do, we don't want to talk it out. We'll go out and go buy something. I go get some anything, flowers, some chocolate, whatever, and think that that'll mend the wound. But it really doesn't. It temporarily does, but it really does because she gonna still want to talk regardless.
I can honestly say that's one of my pet peeves when it comes to you.
Okay,
You never want to talk about stuff.
I used to.
And that used to irritate the heck out of me.
Yeah.
Like, it's like we'll get into an argument, you'll tick me off, I'll tick you off, whatever the case may be. It'd be a full blown argument. I'll completely shut down and not want to talk because I feel like I'm not being heard. And then hours will go by, and then you'll just come, and then you just randomly start talking. I'm like, so are we gonna talk about what happened? No, because I don't hold grudges. And that used to be a thing. And that used to irritate the hell out of me.
I guess I didn't used to see the like. Okay, I used to see. All right, well, time heals. So I'm like, okay, well, all right, we got into an argument, discussion got heated, and I felt like, what I'm saying, she wasn't seeing my point of view, and she felt like she wasn't seeing my point of view. And I'm like, okay, well, the conversation's done. Maybe we need to chill out, take a break. What I'm saying, go two separate rooms, chill, and then come back and talk. And then, at that point, I'm like, I don't kind of forgot about the argument. So I'm starting like, talking to you like, hey, ain't nothing even happened. Because to me, in my mind, it's done. So, but it was kind of, I had to kind
Go
of
back
see.
and say that again.
What?
Say what you just said.
It was done?
You said in your mind.
In my mind,
was done.
yeah, it was done.
That is one of the main factors that you weren't seeing.
Exactly.
Just because you are over something doesn't mean the person that you hurt or the person that you were arguing with is over that.
And it took me a while to realize that, and when I started doing some soul searching, I was thinking to myself like, okay, damn, maybe I need to actually listen to what she got to say instead of trying to butt in and all this stuff and just trying to be done with the argument. Maybe I need to listen to what she has to say, and that helps out a lot. Even if even if it doesn't fully help, because if you are disagreeing with a person, I mean, trying to see it from their perspective is one thing, but you might not see it from their perspective at the end of the day. But it's all about compromising with each other. You know what I'm saying?
It's not even compromising. It's your famous words that you use every
What's that?
podcast. It's communicating. Being able to communicate with somebody. I'm gonna give you this scenario, right?
Yeah.
So if there's an incident where I'm hurt, or there's an incident where I hurt you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just be like, oh, whatever, we'll just go on with it. And you never get to fully express, yo, this is what hurt me and this is why it hurt me. Or same thing with me, I don't get to fully express it, right? And then the next thing go on, and something else happens that hurts you. And it's the same situation. After a while, you're going to explode, and it's going to be an explosion over the smallest thing, because it's like I didn't let this build up so freaking much that I haven't been able to openly express myself. And that's when the mental health comes in, because it's like it's not healthy for you to keep stuff bottled up inside. It's not
It's
healthy
not
for
healthy for you.
anybody to keep stuff bottled up
No, it's not.
inside, because that's when you go into depression. That's when anxiety starts kicking in. It's so many factors that cake up on top of that, and all that could have been eliminated with just a basic form of communication.
Yeah. But let's flip it around. Okay. Let's say you the other person, right? That's supposed to be listening to your significant other, but it seems like that you guys are not coming up with a resolution, and it's constantly bickering and arguing and bickering and arguing, and you're not coming up with a resolution. Do you think that'll play a part in that other person's mental health as well?
Yeah,
So it's like, okay, well, why we keep talking about it? Why don't we just come up with a resolution and find out how we can make it work? But that person does not seem to want to do that.
because honestly, it's easier for the person who didn't do the hurting to say, let's just come up with a way to fix this, than it is for the person who was actually hurt in a situation.
I get it.
If you cut your toe off, right?
Uh huh.
It's bleeding,
Yeah.
it's hurt. I can take a band aid, I can put it over that toe, right?
Uh huh.
Is that gonna heal it all?
No, it ain't gonna heal it.
Right?
Not completely. No.
It's not gonna help.
It
And
probably start the
if
bleeding for a little
if
bit.
I don't take the time out to actually nurture that toe back to the full 100% health, I just let it sit there under that band-aid, it's gonna end up getting infected. It's gonna end up becoming toxic. It's gonna end up causing more damage than it would have caused had we just set back and completely cleansed and taken care of the wound right then and there.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
It does. It
And it's
does.
the same thing when it comes to communication and protecting the mental health of your significant other in a relationship. If you go out and you cheat, if you go out and you freaking hurt somebody, you have to sit down and face your demons and be able to communicate with that, because just because you're over a situation doesn't mean the person that was hurt is also over that situation. And if you don't open up that platform to let that person communicate how they feel and why they feel like that, you are essentially just putting a band-aid over an open wound, and it's going to end up turning into a bigger problem later on down the line,
Yeah.
because you were never able to completely heal.
Yeah.
And if you can't go through that healing process in your relationship, it's not going to be a very healthy one.
Okay. So, it's, I mean, because we're still on the mental health situation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you get with your significant other. You guys are arguing. So it doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in that situation? Like, I mean, even though that you've been arguing for 2-3 hours and it seems like it ain't going nowhere, you're still stuck at where you was at before. You're trying to give your all and listen to this person, but this person just keeps bickering and complaining about the same thing and not coming up with a resolution to the problem. Now I understand that, the person that's hurt, is the burden is not on them, is on the burden is on the person that did the hurting. But if that person that did the hurting is willing to listen and try to figure out, hey, what can we do to fix and mend this? But it seems like, hey, you just want to keep arguing about
Did you hear the words that you used though?
it. What's that?
You said the person just keeps bickering and complaining about stuff. That's one of the biggest things that I just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the opposite person can't openly express how they really feel. Because to me, I'm expressing, hey, you hurt me. It hurt very bad. I really don't want to be hurt like that again. But to you, you're angry, you're yelling out, you just bickering and complaining, just bickering and complaining. That right there will play a toll on a person's mental health because they'll be like, right, I can't express myself because he's just going to think I'm bickering and complaining. So I'm going to just keep that shit bottled up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of those key factors I was talking about. It's the way that you use your words. And I can use us as an example because we always do that. This is our podcast. We can do that. So there's been times where I've been trying to get you to see my point of view. You've been trying to get me to see your point of view. It's just a bunch of yelling. It's just a bunch of arguing. It's not getting nowhere. And there's been times where we didn't have to take breaks. We didn't have to go to our opposite corners of the ring for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then come back when we're calmer and try to discuss it.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have to come to you and be like, okay, now what I was trying to get you to see. And then you do the same thing to me.
Yeah.
And then after we've calmed down, it's easier to see each other's point of view.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because when you're bickering, arguing, one of the things that used to get us is when you argued, you used to shoot for the jugular. It wasn't just we've just finna be arguing to be arguing. It was more so of I'm arguing. I'm going to say something to hurt you because I'm going to be sure you feel these daggers coming. And that's another thing with that growth and maturity.
Yeah.
And also with mental health. We're able to sit down and discuss your mental health and sit down and discuss my mental health. We're able to sit down and discuss our past, what happened in the past and all that, and why we feel the way that we do. And now when we argue, because we still argue, right?
Yeah, I mean ain't no couple perfect.
But now when we argue, it's not as drastic as it used to be.
Because let me tell you, when you say I used to shoot for the juggler, I did. I mean, I used to like, hey, look, one of us got to win this thing, and I ain't gonna lose it. And that was my immaturity, because
your what?
My immaturity.
Immaturity?
Well, you know what I'm talking about. Something,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Immaturity.
That's why I asked you to repeat yourself.
So, I'm like, man, I'm gonna win this argument regardless. So, yeah. And, and I did not realize how destructive my words were until it was over and said with. And I done did what I had to do and said what I had to say. And, it was like, when I thought about it, I'm like, damn, did I really cut that deep and go that far?
And that's the thing, arguing in a relationship shouldn't be about,
It shouldn't be,
this.
exactly.
Yeah.
It should be about coming up with an agreement with each other and developing a plan.
And that right there is like one of the biggest factors when it comes to mental health.
Yeah.
Because
we shouldn't be in a screaming matchup. We shouldn't be competing on who can get the loudest and who can cut the deep. That's not what it's about. I mean, at the end of the day, when you win an argument, at that point in time, you're gonna be like, yeah, I got my point through. So yeah, I won that. But it's not about that, man.
Yeah, it's not a boxing match.
It's really not.
Especially if it's someone that you care about.
Absolutely. For somebody that you love, you gonna sit back, you gonna listen to what they gotta say. Even if you can't get your point across, you gonna listen to what they gotta say, and then you can respectfully ask them, hey, I hear you. I heard what you had to say, but can you hear me out?
Right.
And let's come up with a plan for you to hear me and for me to hear you. So, it ain't just a one-sided ordeal. and that's the whole thing. Just coming up with a plan, developing something that you both can hear each other with. You ain't gonna like everything that comes out of her mouth. You ain't gonna like everything that come out his mouth. But are you willing to listen and hear what that person has to say? And are you willing to develop something that will basically amend that situation so you guys can get back to being happy in your relationship?
You think it's really just that easy?
Why would it be that hard?
It is that hard. That's the thing.
Why is it that hard?
It just is.
For what?
Like I can't sit
Who
here.
makes it that hard?
I can't sit here and say human nature.
It's not human nature.
It is
If a
human
person's
nature.
willing to listen to what you have to
Human
say,
Human nature is what makes it hard.
If a-
Human nature is what makes it difficult.
if no, I'm not gonna agree with that. I'm sorry. If the person that you're with is willing to hear everything you have to say and is willing to adhere to what you're saying and take it seriously, why wouldn't that solve the situation?
Okay, just because you hear what I say, does that mean you're gonna agree with it?
It can be that. Yes.
So just because you hear what I say means that you're 100%
If I'm
in
taking
agreement
you
with me.
dead seriously, yes. If I'm taking you dead seriously, now if I'm just not listening to you and
There's
ignore,
been times within our relationship that you said straight out your mouth, I hear what you're trying to say. I can't agree with it. Because people are not going to agree about everything.
yeah, they're not. And I said that earlier.
Relationships and arguments are not going to be all unicorn farts and rainbows. You're not going to agree with it. But what this statement is saying is, even if I don't agree with you on what you're saying, even if we don't come to an agreement, I want you to feel safe enough emotionally and mentally to come to me and completely open up with me without
Yes.
having to keep stuff bottled up inside.
Yes.
I don't want you to have to hold anything back just because you think I won't respect what you say, or you think that I won't have any care about what you say. That's the whole point. Am I going to agree with everything you say? No, not at all. And if I lied and said, yeah, y'all gonna agree with everything, everything's gonna be perfect, no, that's a lie. And we're not on this podcast to lie to people. It's not about being in agreement. It's about
I did not lie one time.
giving
Only,
your
only thing
significant
that I
other.
said was that, hey, look, if I'm willing to listen to you and take you seriously, that's what I said. I didn't say agree with everything a person has to say. I even mentioned a while ago that you're not going to agree with everything that person has to say. You'll go back and listen
We
to
don't
it.
have to go back and re-listen to that because
Go
I
back and listen to
show
it.
her
Yes.
something totally
No,
different.
I said when you guys are communicating, you're not going to agree with everything that he has to say or she has to say. But as long as you're willing to listen to that person, that's what matters.
Yeah, we'll run it back.
Yeah, listen to it. I said that. No cap. I said that.
We'll run it back.
But yeah, you see that me and her just had a disagreement, but she heard me out and I heard her out.
Because he know I'm right.
I'm not gonna
He
agree.
finna go back and edit it
I'm
so
a
that he say.
nope. I'm gonna agree to disagree.
No, but it's not about being in agreement or anything like that. It's about being comfortable enough to talk to your significant other, being confident enough to say, hey, you hurt me. Because a lot of people can't even say that. Like, it gets to the point where it's like, damn, I'm just going to keep this hurt inside. And that's what slowly kills people from the inside out.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of times what kills relationships from the inside out.
That could be anything. I mean, anything, any relationship. It just doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. That could be any relationship.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
Yeah.
That's what metaphorically kills a relationship.
Yeah.
From the inside out. And be it a relationship with parents, friends, significant others. That's why I say mental health is very important.
It is.
And if anyone, out there has ever contemplated, wanting to take their own life and stuff like that, it's so many outlets that people can reach out to.
A whole lot.
And communicate with. So if you don't have that open platform with your person in your life where you can openly communicate. There are people out there that you can openly communicate with.
Absolutely, absolutely. And don't let a person dictate your life. I mean, no matter what it is, don't let a person dictate your life. I mean, yeah, suicide is one thing, but have you ever heard, stress and mental health issues doesn't have to, you don't have to kill yourself for that. It can happen automatically. You know that, right? Like, you never heard of the expression saying, "Oh, this person died from a broken heart." No, you never heard that expression.
I'm just trying to see where you're going with
I'm
this.
going with this is what I'm saying. It can kill you from the inside out. You know what I'm saying? Stress and mental health issues can kill you from the inside out. You
Mhm.
can literally die with a broken heart.
Mhm.
That can really happen.
Mhm.
You can really die from being overly stressed or having too many mental health issues
Mhm.
going on. So that is serious. So don't let anybody, no matter what it is, take that and control your life. Because it can't happen in relationships. Because let me tell you, I don't have my heart broken a couple times, and I know you have too in previous relationships. But look, you can't let that get to you. Can't let it get to you. You got anything to add? No? Okay. Well,
There are plenty of topics that can be discussed when it comes to mental health, but that's just one of the things that we want to talk about today is mental health within relationships, because I have noticed lately, especially like around people close to me, that mental health in a relationship is really what's starting to break them, whether it be um, hard to deal with narcissism, hard to deal with controlling behaviors, hard to stay away from controlling behaviors.
mm-hmm.
It's just it's a lot. It's a lot, and it seems like people are more often now than ever trying to find a quick fix or a quick way out of a situation, and that's never the case. So if you are in a relationship, the only advice I can give is make sure that you're protecting each other's mental health.
Yeah, that goes a whole mile away because I mean, making sure like physical is one thing, and like we said, we're hitting on this mental health, man. Eternally, that's the whole thing too. So you gotta you gotta love both the physical and the internal because one thing that's really important is knowing letting your other person know that you are there for them regardless of the situation. They can't they can communicate with you about anything, talk to you about anything. Let me know how you feeling emotionally. Is something bothering you? Is everything okay? How was your day? Would you like for me to run your bubble bath? All that stuff goes a long way. It goes a long way, and I know one thing about it that keeps me on a swivel now, man. My wife come in. I come in from work. She asked me, "How was your day?" That go, man. That makes a big difference because maybe I want to talk to somebody about my day, and I felt like I couldn't talk to nobody about it. But when she asked me that, it opens the door, and I'm able to communicate with her and tell her, "Hey, yeah, my day was awesome. It was bad. This happened. That happened." And she's able. She wants to listen and see what was happening, so that she can be there for me in that area. So it makes a ton of a difference when it comes to my mental health. So, and I try to give the same love back to her as well.
Well, with that being said, it looks like we are running low on time. It was great kicking it with you guys. If you have anything to add, please feel free to add. You can reach us at our email, kcvibe@gmail.com.
Yep.
You can also reach me on TikTok at ayo_ko and the number 2. That's ayo_kayo and the number 2. You can also follow me on Instagram, the real_knockout. KC Vibe Podcast is currently on Instagram as well. Uh, YouTube, and you can also follow us on YouTube and Facebook, both KC Vibe. Listen to our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, all streaming platforms. Just
Yep.
Google it.
Just Google it. Mine is not as extensive. My social media platform. I'm not gonna even do this. You should give away your Snapchat.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Y'all,
Look, you can simply reach me on Snapchat and TikTok at MartyMar886. That's at MartiMar86. All right, one more time for the people in the back. MartiMar86 on Snapchat and not Snapchat. God dog.
you said Snapchat already. Go
Dang,
ahead
not
for that.
Snapchat, but forget that I said Snapchat. Instagram and TikTok. All right, y'all. So that's all I got. That's all we got.
Mm-hmm. And remember, if you or anybody you know are contemplating doing something drastic in your
Yeah.
life, don't be afraid to reach out. There is help. Suicide prevention line 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Don't think that you're in this alone, you guys. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid to reach out for help. And as always, I'm the K.
And on the C.
And once again, thanks for vibing with
All
us.
right,
See you
bye.
later.
Bye.
Bye.